1. Introduction, the crisis scene. Engaging opening. The Galactic Union's Grand Council Hall is an imposing space where the most powerful leaders in the universe gather to address critical issues. With its towering ceilings, walls made of ultra-durable materials, and the design of the council chamber reflecting the strength and authority of the civilizations, the atmosphere exudes power. But today, the air here is dark and hauntingly empty. One seat in the council has always remained vacant, the seat reserved for humanity, a species erased from history, ostracized for actions deemed unacceptable. The entire council falls silent, every gaze fixed on the holographic screen, where massive warships of the Thylery emerge, their destructive path still visible across the surface of planets, and the universe is left in ruins. Every countermeasure, every strategy has been tested, but nothing has worked. The Union's leaders glance at one another, silent, none daring to speak. A deep sigh echoes through the room, and the despair almost reaches a point of no return. The crisis of the Union. While other civilizations remain quiet, sensing the deadlock, High Chancellor Vora stands up and slowly moves forward. Her eyes are filled with worry, her hands clenched in a silent display of the restraint of a leader at a critical juncture. "We have failed," she says, and immediately, her words echo through everyone's mind like a final verdict. A heavy silence envelopes the room. The Thylery warships not only destroy everything on their path, but are now infiltrating the very systems of the galaxy that the Union has protected for millennia. Strategies that were once thought invincible have now become useless. This war is no longer a typical confrontation. It is a fight for survival. 2. Introduction to humanity. The memory of humanity. As the leaders in the council sit bewildered, unsure of what to do next, a surprising suggestion is made. An elder named Cows, a seasoned member of the Union, rises and begins to speak. His eyes are clouded with age, but his voice is serious and resolute. "There is one species we once erased," he says, "humans." His words are a shock to everyone in the room. Immediately, the other members turn to one another, astonished and incredulous. Humans? They were erased long ago. Why are we even mentioning them? A shift in the perception of humans. The members of the council all know about humanity through ancient records, relics that only exist in forgotten books from centuries ago. But the memories of humans are not heroic tales. They are a species that could not be controlled, rebels who never followed the Union's rules. They were too strong, too independent, and thus were erased from the annals of history. The story of humanity, a people with their own strategies and unmatched strength in battle, but lacking cooperation, forced the Union to take drastic measures to erase them. No memory, no information, they were pushed into the darkness of the universe. But no one thought that humanity would be the only hope to save the universe now. Why humanity was erased. The fear of humanity stemmed from their unique characteristics. Humans were not only intelligent, but they had the ability to act freely, without following anyone's command. They could do things other civilizations dared not do, fight without approval, without adhering to agreements or treaties. This was why the Union decided to eliminate them. But history could not completely erase humanity. They survived, existing beyond the Union's control, and now, they are the Union's only hope. 3. The desperation and decision to call for humanity. Turning point in the story. Vora looks at the council members, all of whom remain silent. They are too weary to search for another solution. And then, finally, she speaks. "We will call upon humanity." The silence in the room is absolute. Most of the members cannot believe what she has just said. Some are concerned that calling humanity could lead to unforeseen consequences. After all, they were erased for a reason, and they cannot just be invited back into the Union. But Vora sees no other choice. The tense meeting. Every debate becomes more heated than ever. Some members criticize Vora for this decision, arguing that calling humanity might be a fatal mistake. But Vora, with her unwavering and courageous gaze, offers the final argument. We have no other choice. If we do not call them, we will die. These words hang in the air like an irreversible sentence. Decision to call for humanity. Vora rises, turns toward the screen, and begins sending out an urgent message. We need help. The Galactic Union requires the assistance of humanity. If you still exist, please respond. This is a critical and serious decision, for if humanity refuses or no longer exists, the Union will have nothing to hope for. Vora feels a chill wrap around her as she presses the button to send the signal. 4. The encounter with humanity. Vora's journey. Vora steps onto the ship, preparing for the journey she knows will change everything. She travels through dark, silent space. The ship encounters no issues, but the space outside is vast and empty, filled only with solitude and silence. She cannot predict what awaits her at the end of this journey. This journey is not just an encounter between two civilizations, but a perilous step where entire civilizations could be wiped out because of past mistakes. The space where humanity hides. Vora's ship comes to a stop at an ancient space station, a relic from the past that the Union had long forgotten. This station shows no sign of life, only old electronic systems and weak lights flickering in the darkness. But there is something strange about the atmosphere here. Vora senses something uncanny, as if she has entered a world outside the Union's control. The first encounter. When Vora steps off the ship, a figure appears in the distance, standing still, watching her. This is a human, but not like anyone she has ever met. He is tall, muscular, but his eyes hold a sharpness and experience that are beyond his physical appearance. His demeanor is not that of a warrior, but of someone who has survived through many decades. Vora's emotions. Vora feels an odd sense of fear, not because of his strength, but because of his gaze. His eyes carry a vast understanding of the universe, of life and death, of war and peace. She cannot explain her feeling, but there is one thing that is clear. She is standing before someone whom every power in the Union once considered a threat. And now, they must beg for help from this very person. 5. The Union's difficult situation and the choice. Debate in the Union. After Vora returns from her encounter with humanity, their clear terms are communicated to the entire Galactic Union Council. The conditions that humanity has set, not fighting under the Union's command, not participating in a war to protect a Union that had erased them, spark a fierce debate. A few representatives of the Union, who still hold on to their belief in the Union's strength, argue that calling humanity is reckless and dangerous. They fear that, should humanity return, they will never follow any rules, and could even start a new war, a war that cannot be controlled. Especially given that humanity was once a latent threat. Now, with their superior military capabilities and their independent freedom, their return could create a situation far worse than the Union's defeat. We are asking for help from those we once erased from memory. How can we trust that they won't come back to take revenge? How can we risk the survival of the entire universe just to serve humanity's ego? One representative from an ancient civilization asserts. The council falls into hesitation, uncertainty. Vora's determination. Vora, with a resolve that will not easily be shaken, stands up. She knows that if the Union does not agree to humanity's terms, the universe will face a catastrophic end. She has no other choice but to make this difficult decision. We can no longer refuse them, Vora says, her voice full of conviction but tinged with sorrow. If we refuse, we will have no chance to fight against Thylery. Facing this destruction, I have nothing left to protect. If the Union wants to survive, we must accept humanity, even though they might be a threat in the future. Vora turns toward the screen, where the dim light illuminates the tense discussions among the representatives. A chilling silence falls over the room, and no one dares to oppose her words. In the end, in a final moment of decision, the remaining members agree to send the message, though they still fear the cost of their choice. 6. How humanity fights. Humanity's fighting strategy. Vora returns with humanity's message. At the council, she presents in detail the military strategies humanity has proposed. The council members breathe a sigh of relief as they hear about humanity's prepared military plans, but they also feel uneasy about the unconventional tactics humanity employs. Humans do not fight by traditional rules. They fight in their own way, not dragging out wars, not engaging in prolonged attrition battles, but focusing on quickly and mercilessly destroying their opponents. Their strategies are designed to exploit the enemy's weaknesses, using sudden, precise attacks to devastate supply lines and destroy enemy warships before they can react. "We don't have time to fight long wars," one representative of humanity, who had attended the earlier meeting, says. "We won't follow your rules. You fought an endless, futile war for so many years. We're not fighting for you, we're fighting for ourselves. We fight to win, and winning is never about a drawn-out battle." Humanity does not hesitate to launch powerful attacks on the most critical targets, including military bases, supply lines, and strategic weak points of the enemy. These tactics, though simple, are highly effective due to their precision, the rapid mobilization of forces, and humanity's ruthless nature in combat. War simulation. The Union's war simulation system is activated to demonstrate how humanity would fight. On the screen, humanity's strategies are gradually revealed. The Thalari warships are wiped out within a few hours, battles that don't last but unfold in the blink of an eye, with the entire enemy fleet collapsing before they can even respond. The council members are stunned by these bold tactics. They cannot fathom a fighting style like this. It's a war not meant for the weak, but for those ready to act with ruthless precision. 7. The final decision and the price to pay. Union's agreement. Despite numerous objections, the Union ultimately agrees to humanity's demands, but at a high cost. There is no other choice. Vora returns to the Council and announces that humanity will join the war, but not as typical allies. They will fight as an independent force, with the freedom to make their own decisions about tactics and objectives. The Council members realize that, with humanity's help, victory is possible. However, they also understand that this could lead to long-term consequences. Humanity will not just help the Union, they will bring about a profound change in the way the Union functions and operates. The Union will no longer be the dominant force in the galaxy. It will now face the awakening of a powerful, independent force that refuses to follow the rules they once set. 8. Conclusion. A permanent change. The final lesson. After victory, when humanity has helped the Union destroy the Thalari, Vora and the others in the Union realize they have sacrificed something priceless. Humanity not only helped the Union win but also made them realize that, when you control a civilization as powerful as humanity, you must not only face the enemy but also deal with their independence. The Union cannot forever live in the shadow of one dominant civilization. And after this victory, the universe will never be the same. The awakening of the Union. The Union had always believed it was the most powerful force in the universe, but through this war, they realized that no civilization, can exist forever if they don't learn to respect the independence of other civilizations. Humanity has proven that freedom and self-determination are values greater than all else. This story carries a lesson about the power of freedom, about change, and about accepting things we cannot control. The Union won thanks to humanity, but the price they paid is a permanent change in the way the universe views and exists.